On Tuesday this week, that saw mass demonstrations in Nairobi staged by young men and young women, our daughters and granddaughters, our sons and grandsons. The day the Gen Z and millennials broke into parliament, I was put to test as a parent, as a father, as a grandfather, and as a Kenyan. My millennial and Gen Z children told me they were going to join the demonstrations. Looking at how determined they were, I knew I would not stop them. So I told them, I'm not giving you permission to go, neither am I stopping you. But I added something. I told them, remember, this is not a picnic. But the bigger test was yet to come. When in the course of the demonstrations, when the young people broke into parliament, I heard what appeared to me to be really gunshots with live bullets. If I had any doubt it was live bullets, because as I age, my ears begin to fail me, my eyes told me they were seeing live bullets. Not in terms of seeing them flying, but you can see what is happening. Confirmed by people who have fell down. If I was still in doubt that there was shooting that had resulted into death, my doubts were completely removed when television stations offering live coverage put on their scrolls down there, several demonstrators shot dead by police. Of course, a couple of minutes later, they withdrew the word dead. But I want you to imagine the test and what I went through. When you know your children are there, and you see there are people shot to death, what I felt on that day was terrible. I have lost people before, and I know what it feels. So I asked myself, if I, a man, would be feeling the way I'm feeling, how about the mothers who actually gave birth to these children? Wamama ambao walibeba hawa watoto kwa tumbo, walisikiaje? Because you can't tell at that point. In fact, you can't tell how many, and you can't tell whether yours is there. As media, especially unconventional media, relayed the actual bodies lying down, and I saw blood, I asked myself, what are the people who died for this country feeling down there? Are their bones not turning in their graves, whether they be conventional graves or mass graves? To see that the blood of young Kenyans is being absorbed by the land they fought for by shedding their own blood. is not something anybody would want to go through. As a country, we have failed, and we have failed our children. As parents, we have failed to listen to our children. We have taken our children to be like furniture in their homes. And as a country, we have failed the young men and women whom we do not consider to be part of this country. The young men are telling us, Dad, Mom, I'm in this house. You are not noticing me. Mom, Dad, I'm in your house. Yes, you are also in your father's house. You are in your mother's house, but times have changed. I got thinking that we need to understand the situation in order to deal with this situation. Hope is what keeps a man alive. You are kept alive by hope. The moment that hope is crushed, then there's no point of living. Man minus hope is a corpse. So you look around and see the hordes, if you call them that, the millions of young men and women with education without any gainful employment, where the few jobs available are given to those who are unknown, to those who can buy them. And even those jobs that we have for the young men and women pay them slave wages that cannot make them live the dream of any young man or woman. But the most serious one is joblessness. I look around this country and say, where are we going? I am not a very big man in this country. I'm not a very important man in this country. But certainly, there isn't a leader in this country I haven't sat down with. A leader I haven't greeted and talked to. In short, I surely know people in this country. But believe me or not, I have young men and women in my house, biological children. God has given me children. I'm an African man with an African family. And therefore I have children ranging from Gen Z all the way up or down, wherever you go. I have young men I've taken to school. So if this is happening to me, I can imagine that ordinary peasant in Luombei. What chance in heaven do they have that the child that struggled against all odds and sacrificed everything to take to school up to university? What chance do they have of getting a job? This is the reality as Kenyans we must deal with. This is the reality we must deal with. So, as we make ourselves a country that stands against its own people, as we bring shame to ourselves as parents, that we refuse to listen to our children and instead even kill them, I feel for the parents who have lost the young ones in this demonstration. I know it. When I lost my son in the year 2011, God continued resting me in peace. My aunt, again, God rest Rufosa Mideha in peace. She said something I've never forgotten. She said, what is this that is happening to us? Because a number of those things had happened to us. It should be that children bury their parents and not parents burying their children. The pain of bearing a child is unbearable. Because in the ordinary order of things and nature, the species will survive, humanity will survive when we give birth to children. We take care of them, nurture them, and they replace us. We cannot be burying our children. They should be burying us. My son has been scaring me. Almost every weekend, he's going for a funeral. And twice he has told me, unajua mzee, most of us now, our parents are dying. The other day I was telling my friend, what are you talking about? Why are you scaring me? But that's the reality. That children should bury us. No country should celebrate a situation where we are burying our children. Death to our children, not just from police bullets, is from hunger and poverty and despair and helplessness. I'm compelled to ask us as Kenyans to remember that the future of any country is actually the children of those countries. How you take care of your children as a country defines what sort of country you are going to have in the future. As I ask the young people to remember what I told my children when they went, that it's not a picnic. The country belongs to the young people. But if we destroy this country, then we have done our bit as we depart, as we go to our Mecca. In the Bible it is written, I'll shorten your life. 70 will be the years you live in this world. We are there. The world and the future belongs to you young people. As you agitate, as you push for your rights, do so knowing, one, it's not a picnic. You can pick a bullet. And I'm not scaring you, but that's just reality. But two, you need to have that country tomorrow. Because it belongs to you. And therefore, my final appeal is to the two parties. Let the young men try to understand the leaders of this country, who basically are their parents. And I ask the leadership of the country, all the way from the president down, to all of us, all of us, parents with young people, with young children, in the streets. I ask the government, I ask the president to listen to the young people. Just as I ask the young people, don't push this thing to a level where you destroy the very platform on which you are standing. If this country goes up in flames, in ashes, it will be your future that you are burning. So as you make your point, remember, that future must be protected. And for the government, and as parents, I repeat, listen to the children in your house. Your children should not be part of furniture. And as the government, if you talk about this country, you are talking about young people. If you talk about the future of this country, you are talking about young people. You cannot afford, therefore, not to listen to them. I believe, and I have no doubt in my mind, that the issues we face are not that big. It is quite possible for us as a country to solve these issues without occasioning ourselves the embarrassment, the shame, the pain that we could be going through and we are going through and we could be going through in future by merely sitting down as a country and listening to these young people. I finish by saying, and I've said this before, that we have reached a juncture where we should not look for blame. Let's not apportion blame. We have reached a juncture where we must look for solutions. And finally, we are at a point when nobody, I repeat, nobody, none among us should try to be clever. Not government, not the country, not parents, not children. None of us should try to be clever. There is nothing to protect. I repeat, there is nothing to protect by being clever. I am particularly addressing the government. There is nothing to protect by being clever. We could lose it all. Yet it is a simple solution. This problem is as simple as appreciating there is a problem. And by sitting down and listening to each other, we will find a solution to a problem which, if not addressed, will run out of control. I must end by saying this. The state of the nation is bad. The state of the nation is bad. Let us not be seen to be playing around with danger. In another video I'll release, I'll give my suggestions of how to deal with this problem. I hope people listen. I hope we listen. But in a nutshell, I'll be suggesting, let us not try to be clever. Let us do those things that will give signals that there is hope for tomorrow and that tomorrow can be a better day.